Loving me more does not mean I am loving you less. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. The more I love me, the more capacity I have to love you, right? Love others as you love yourself. I can only love you in equal measure to how much I love myself. And I used to believe that if I was pouring this love into me, if I was pouring all this care into me, consideration and intentionality into myself, that I was depriving others. And so I stopped myself from investing into myself. I stopped myself from putting these hours in on my vision and my purpose and my dream, not understanding that when I pour it into me, I'm actually pouring into you. When I'm doing what I love most, I'm doing what you need most, right? As opposed to me writing that book like I was supposed to a long time ago, I'll think to myself, oh man, how can I quote unquote really be of service? How can I show these people I really love them? So I would sacrifice everything I wanted to do, my deepest desires, my deepest pleasure, my deepest yearnings. I would drop all of that and I would pick up everybody else's stuff. Man, how can I be of service? How can I be of service? That wasn't of service. I was being a people pleaser. I was looking for ways to get validation out of those individuals. That's what that was about. And so I really had to start accepting this. And it happened in the confines of, my last relationship where I really realized like, man, you have been afraid to invest into you. Even those things that you were desiring in the relationship, like appreciation, you didn't even spend enough time with yourself, appreciating yourself, and yet you're desiring out of somebody else. You didn't wake up this morning and invest in yourself first. You were looking to please this person so they can give you something, right? They can give you a sense of validity. Like I was supposed to be waking up and getting into my meditation and getting into my journaling and tapping in with myself, as opposed to waking up and looking over at you and hoping that you look at me and you think to yourself, wow, what an amazing man. I'm so blessed to have this man. And you just continue to pour into this man. No, that was never your job, and neither was it mine. My job was to take care of me. And when I did that part, everything else was taken care of. Your job was to take care of you. And when that was taken care of, everything else is taken care of. I remember hearing this when I was young, right? Like, two halves don't make a whole. And I was like, man, that don't make any sense. That's not math. Two halves make a whole every single time in math. Well, not in human math, not in relational math, right? You can't take two halves of a people and then make them a whole person. It has to be two whole individuals, or at least two aspiring whole individuals. Two individuals who see themselves as responsible for themselves, who see themselves as responsible for taking care of or nurturing their own needs, their own desires, right? Fueling their own flame. And when they can do that for themselves, then they can do it for one another, because we can only give to another what we can give to ourselves. We can only give to another what we give to ourselves every single time without fail. I promise you, it's a universal truth. Again, I found myself in a place where I really, really desired to be seen, heard, appreciated, desired even. But I wasn't considering whether or not I was actually giving those to myself. Even when it came to creating content like this, right? I wanted other people to hear me and what I had to say, but I wasn't even valuing my own words in my own life. I wasn't even respecting my own gifting, right? I was seeing my gift as, a throwaway, because I wasn't investing in it. I wasn't sitting in front of this camera right now doing what I'm supposed to be doing because this is my purpose and the thing that I love to do most. I wasn't doing that. Instead, I was hiding away in a corner somewhere, right? Hoping that somebody would discover me or somebody would listen to me. But now I'm like, bro, are you kidding? I'll watch my videos. I don't watch anybody else's content. I am on a content fast, but I'm not fasting for my content. I'm listening to me, because whatever comes out of me is the word that I need to hear every single time. And so I started putting a different value on myself. And that's what love is, right? Love is the highest evaluation. When I can truly live in a state of self-love, which is an evaluation of self, right? It might spook some of y'all religious folk out. Oh, self-love. Oh, that sounds like the devil talk. No, that's an honest talk. That's a true talk. If I don't have love in me, right? And I don't have the highest intention for me, which is my description of love. If I don't see myself as worthy of the goodness of life, right? Or you can call it the goodness of God. If I don't see myself as deserving of that, then I can never see you as deserving of it. Even if you have it, I'm still going to want you not to have it. I would just come from a spirit of jealousy and envy, right? I'm going to see you and want what you have, or see you and feel I can't have what you have. I'm going to see you and not want you to have what you have. That's what happens when you don't cultivate that internal sense of love. Me loving me does not mean I love you less. That's not how love works. True love is an infinite game. True love is a forever thing. It continues to, as a matter of fact, shout out to Amanda Tsoukalis, who's brought the word infinite game back into my life. It's not just an infinite game, but it's also a compounding effect, right? So it's not 2 plus 2, it's 2 times 2, and then that equals 4, and then 4 times 4, 16, etc., 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 right? I'm not going to try to do the live math right now. To be honest, I'm still getting my conditioning back to say I'm real good at math, so we'll do that another time. But it is a multiplication game. It is a compounding interest of love. It is more and more. It is continuously swelling, just like the economy. Believe it or not, for some of y'all who've been so deeply programmed into the scarcity mentality like I was, into that lack mentality like I was, you believe that the economy is, it stays the same and people take from that pool. No, the economy expands. The more supply, the more demand, the more demand, the more supply, the more it expands. Just look throughout history and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's the very same thing when it comes to love. The more love you can cultivate, the more love there is to give. The more love there is to give, the more love there is to receive. The more love there is to receive, the more love there is to give. You get it? It is a compounding effect. And when I talk about love, I'm not talking about looking at myself in the mirror. Oh my goodness, I'm so pretty. I'm so this, I'm so that, right? Maybe that's a byproduct, right? I'm not talking about, ooh, look at me, I'm so thick, I'm so slim, I'm so this, I'm so that. That might be a byproduct, but that's not the core. That's not the foundation. The foundation is an inherent remembering that you are worthy of love as you are. That's the inherent. That's the inner. That's the core of what we're talking about here. It's the remembering aspect. Okay? The remembering. I come back to a place where I say, wait a minute. What the world may have told me, what my parents may have told me, what my teachers may have told me, society may have demonstrated to me, the media may have lied about to me, that's not true. That's not who I am. That's not my true identity. I've got to start seeing myself through the eyes of Source, see myself through the eyes of the Creator. And once I start seeing myself from that place, it's a wrap. Because I see myself as absolutely worthy, absolutely loved. I stop begging, I stop petitioning, I stop pleading, and I start demanding and commanding things into existence. I start calling things into existence. My good cometh unto me. I expect it. Anticipation of the absolute best continuously. I expect my highest good to come to me. And I'm still going to be surprised sometimes. I'm still going to be awestruck because that is life. Life is going to, it's going to bring you into states of awe. But nevertheless, I will continue to command the good into my life, period. And that's the state of love. That's the state that we're looking to live in, to truly dwell in, to accept for ourselves, right? That is our place of expectation every single time. And it is only you, it is only you, it is only you who can make the decision to dwell in that space. It's only you who can cultivate that within yourself. Right? Only you can do you guilt-free. Shout out to my first published book. Another guilt-free plug. Doing Me Guilt-Free. Make sure to get yourself a copy immediately. But it's only you who can make those decisions in your life. You're the only one who can get to a state or get to a place where you finally accept that you are lovable, that you are good enough, that you are worthy, that you are deserving. You're the only one. Nobody else can do it for you. I promise you that. Trust me. If there was a service where you could do this for other people, this would be a $1 trillion industry, first $1 trillion industry. If there was an industry where you could lift weights for somebody and eat for somebody, multi-trillion dollar industry. But that's not the case. You're going to have to do it for yourself. You're going to have to sit through the meditations. You're going to have to do them reflections, the journaling. You're going to have to do that inner work. You're going to have to live that out in your everyday life. There is no quick fix, but it can be a fast process if you devote yourself to it. It can be an overnight process for those who give themselves to it completely. But for some of us, the actual process or the actual time that we spend is in the letting go, is in the letting go, is in the letting go. It's like if I said to you right now, do I got a pen? This pen right here. Shout out to my ex who got me this dope pen. Look at that. Bam. So if I'm holding onto this pen and I've been holding onto this pen for 10 years, right? And I've been so used to holding it, is it hard for me? Like, is it difficult, complex, I guess I'll say. Is it complex for me to drop this pen? No, it's not. Now, it might hurt maybe because I've been holding it for 10 years, but nevertheless, it's not a complex process. All I simply have to do is to let go, right? So the moment I let go of the pen, it will drop. However, if I have a story about why this pen matters so much to me and how I can never let it go and how it's meant everything to me and how it's part of who I am, and if I let it go, everything will fall to waste. If that was the story I was telling myself about this pen in my hand, then it would be the process of letting go of the stories that would be the most difficult. So I might let go of one story, then I might cling on again. I might let go of two stories, and then I might cling on even tighter. And then eventually I make the decision to let it go, right? That's the process we're taking ourselves through. And, now I know to be kind to yourself in that process. Before I was trying to rush through it, before I was blaming or, I was finding ways to judge myself or why is it taking so long? I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do, but why am I not doing it? And now I say, you know what? Try again. As my brother says, try again, try again, try again, right? Or as he says sometimes, cry again, cry again, cry again. Whatever is going to be necessary to do in order for you to purge, to shed that old skin, try again. And I promise you it's going to be the most worthwhile journey in your life. Me loving me does not mean I love you any less. That's the message for today. Before we wrap up, get yourself a copy of my first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. Now, you will get the paperback version, the smaller version of this. This is my larger manuscript joint I use for editing purposes, etc., etc. So make sure to get yourself one of these immediately by clicking the link in the description. I'll link a comment in the comment section so y'all can reach out as well. Until the next time, appreciate you guys. Namaste. Now must go. Namaste. Now must go. Okay, I'm out.